With me on this table is a full Saucony lineup, shoe rotation. I have just the daily trainer. Put them on, goes. I've got the Hurricane 24, we just came out. I ran the London 10K, the Saucony London 10K in this one. And then of course, the Max Cushion Triumph 22s. I got a beautiful story to tell you of how I got my hands on Saucony's Endorphin Pro 4, right? So there's a guy I love on Instagram. His name is Herms, Alex Hermanson. This guy has started a movement. He's a bigger guy and he sometimes runs without his top on, right? Getting people to be comfortable about their bodies. I don't have to look like that guy over there. I don't have to, no, I'm good with being me and I'll show you me. So why, just because I look like this, can't I run without a top on? So this guy just does it. He does it eating donuts. I love him. Anyway, so he lives in the States. He then tells me he's coming over to the UK to run London's 10K.
Hey man, it's better late than never. There I was planning that whole route to do with this man here.
Dude, I don't know how we didn't see each other. That was literally, I looked for, he has this hat on. Look at this, believe in the run. I was searching high and low for,
yeah.
I don't know how I didn't see him.
Dope. I get to meet this guy because I love him. I saw him when he came for the London Marathon. I just love the guy. Anyway, he then goes, I don't even know if Saucony knows this. Hopefully he doesn't get in trouble for me saying this. He asks me, what are you running in? I go, well, Saucony have sent me the Hurricane 24s because it was that time. And I'm training for a marathon anyway, so I'm not actually gonna race it. Oh, okay. What are you running in, Herms? He goes, well, they've given me this. I was like, oh, that's the only current race day shoe I don't have. I promise you, I wasn't hinting for him to give me this shoe, right? He goes, well, you can have my one when I'm done with, yeah. So the laces you're gonna see on here aren't the laces that come with the shoes. I actually do prefer that system. It just surprised me on how well it works. Anyway, he gave me these. So this is how I got hold of, I know that was long for an intro, but that's how I got hold of the Saucony Endorphin Pro 4. It's worth talking about, I think. That story alone puts this in a very special place in my heart. But does it perform out of sentimental value, or is it actually a good shoe? My name is Aubrey. I'm a runner and I'm good with being me. I don't want to be like that or that guy or that. I'm good with being me. I'm all right with being me because guess what? You guys on the YouTube thing have given me 14,000 subscribers. I'm about a year and a half-ish into my YouTube journey within this running space, and look at what you guys are doing. It's absolutely magical. It's absolutely amazing that you've gotten behind me and you're supporting what I'm doing. Hopefully that kind of sorts out the disclosure bits. If anything, I'm going to be biased to Herms. Boom, follow the guy on Instagram. What is the Endorphin Pro 4? Now, I don't want to offend Saucony Endorphin Pro 3 loyalists. The Pro 3 is a loved shoe. Everyone loves that shoe for the marathon, half marathon, 10K distance. But I've never ran in it. Like I mentioned to you, I'm only a year and a half into this thing. So there's some shoes that were way before my time. So I don't have a comparative view of this shoe to the version 3. So please bear with me on that. I'm just going to tell you about this shoe versus my other race day shoes, how it feels. Let's start with the specs, the 3 things that you need to know. 230 pounds will get you the Saucony Endorphin Pro 4s. And in terms of the weight, 251 grams, and that is in Herms' size. And when it comes to the stack height, you got 40 at the back, 32 at the front, being an 8mm drop. Now, how have I tested it? 57K done in this shoe, because I'm training for a marathon, and I've trained quite a bit of this block in this shoe. I want to say part of 2 weeks in this shoe, making that 57K. It's been a mix of a progressive run. I've done a progressive run that took me through the marathon pace and then quickened up to about half marathon to my 10K pace. I've done some tempo sessions in this shoe. I've done some long runs, and my longest run actually this Sunday, 16.8K so far, was done in this shoe. So you're gonna see a whole mix of runs. That is then going to be giving me an indication of how it feels to run in this shoe, how it's coping. Am I seeing any signs of wear? But we will talk through that. So just a normal conversation, going from the top, working our way down. Let's start with the heel. Now, with race day shoes, there is a tough balance to strike because they want to keep the weight down, but also provide you a lockdown, but as well as comfort. What they've done with this heel is actually, for me, just perfect. It's a good balance. There is excellent padding, and I didn't have any issues with the lockdown. It does give you an option for a runner's loop. I didn't need it. It just holds perfectly. But there's a caveat here. When I got this shoe, Alex gave me the normal laces, but he had replaced them with this, and I love it. Next is the tongue. Now, to me, I love a tongue being gusseted. Now, you get different types of gusseting. You get little attachments on the inside. You get a booty construction, all this kind of stuff. But this is fully attached. And I mean fully attached. There is nothing else here. The only one thing that I have in terms of the criticism about the tongue, because it's fully attached, you don't have space to spread the tongue out to either side of your foot. So when you get it wrong, it bunches up in the middle like this, and it takes a while to faff with it and kind of adjust it for a good fit. But it's a knit tongue, highly breathable. To me anyway, it feels that way. I think it's good that it's slick this way, it's breathable this way, but where you're going to tie the laces down, it would have been great to see some padding being added on there to take that pressure away from the top of your foot. I do think it's a good tongue. But those are my two criticisms. One, you can't spread it out and therefore it bunches up. And two, just a bit of padding would have gone a long way. Okay, let's talk about the upper. Now this, I always talk about in two ways. I talk about aesthetics, and I have to say, out of all my race day shoes, this was probably the sexiest look. The colorway, the design, I love the exaggerated Saucony logo on the side, even on the medial side. I just love how this looks. The colorway, fire. This is the best one I have seen. Now, don't get me wrong. I've seen the one with the white and the orange accenting. I've seen a citrus illuminated one that looks like a minion. I love that one. But to me, there is something about this blend that when I'm running, I feel like I look good. I don't just look good. I feel like I am. In terms of the upper, I can't fault this. The breathability. I just love how that feels. I love the breathability. I love the resilience. It gives you a hold. And you know what? I can't fault it. I really cannot fault it. It just feels great. Now, the midsole. The midsole is in 4 parts. The insole actually feels amazing. There is a part, so I started to take it out because I wanted to just show you for the review. But when I started to, I could actually see how thick that midsole is. I think they've been very intentional about that midsole. Now, the reason I say that, in the Saucony Triumph 22, I can take that out, right? Now, Saucony is very, very intentional about these insoles. They do something amazing with their insoles, and they're very specialized. They definitely didn't compromise on that one. They didn't compromise on this. The Hurricane 24's insole, honestly, these feel like specially made insoles that you can go to a store and buy. And it's really good to see that the kit insole is like that, okay? And this is what I want to just show you, that this is a Saucony thing. And I love it about that. It's a shame I can't take it out of this to show you. It's not necessarily as branded form fit that you see on these shoes, but there is something intentional about this insole. Right. The 3 other elements within the midsole. You've got a top layer of that midsole. You then have a carbon plate and a bottom layer. The top layer is the type of foam that Saucony uses in the Endorphin Elite kind of shoe. That's their very best. That is the midsole foam that you're seeing up here. Ignore what it's called. It's not important. You then have a carbon plate. The carbon plate is absolutely exceptional for what it does. But I'm going to talk about that in a second when I compare it to my other running shoes. You then have the bottom layer midsole foam, which is not as plush, but it's still highly cushioned, still has a good energy return. Power Run PB. You're going to see it in the other Saucony shoes. Now, it's all well and good telling you that, but what does it actually feel like? What I will say right now will sound like a criticism, but it's why I've loved this shoe. In my opinion, I say that being a nearly 90 kg guy who runs at a certain pace. My 10K is 48 minutes. My 5K is 22 minutes. My half marathon is 158. I'm not kicking out these kind of fast paces. I'm a heavier guy. It takes something a lot more aggressive for me to feel proportion. This shoe doesn't feel aggressive to me. That's why I love it. This to me feels a bit more like a fast daily trainer. To me. And please don't attack me for saying that. It feels like a very advanced super trainer. It doesn't feel as aggressive as some of my race day shoes. And that is why I love this shoe. It's why I loved my long run on Sunday when I did nearly 17K. It's why I loved when I did my progressive, my tempo runs. It just feels a lot more like a normal shoe, but with high performance. That's why I love this midsole. Let's talk to the outsole. Now, I've put in 57K. I think it's more than adequate in terms of coverage. I can't fault it. I don't see any immediate signs of wear. But I must say, just out of transparency, I live in the UK and we're experiencing our week of summer right now. The weather's been perfect. It hasn't been challenged. I can't tell you that actually it is great in wet conditions, all this kind of stuff. It's just been a great experience. That outsole, in terms of grip, in terms of resilience, I don't see any obvious signs, even at 57K. Now I recognize I'm gonna have to circle back, but at 57K, this is holding up very well. Mind you, that's after Alex did some training in the shoe, ran Saucony in it, so it's done more than 57K. I'm just telling you the distance that I've done in it. In summary, yes, absolutely yes. If you're gonna hold back from it, I would say look at the type of socks you wear. Maybe that's gonna provide you additional comfort. But I think for me, the issue with the tongue in terms of one, it bunching up like this, as well as not having enough padding when you're tied down, not as significant an issue if you ask me, but still worth considering. That would be it. All in all, a great shoe. Who should buy this shoe? I think this is a great option for your first carbon plated race day shoe. I can't argue with that. My name is Aubrey. Thank you for checking this out, and I hope to see you on my next review video.